10, 9, 8. We have a go for main engine start. We have main engine start. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Today's the third day of the qualifying round, number 5, with 2 races for both groups. All teams had a clear start on race 4. India arrived first at the weather mark, followed by South Africa and Malaysia. The downwind leg was in the favor of South Africa, who caught up to India, arriving at the gate at the same time. After an upwind battle, South Africa managed to arrive first at the last weather mark, followed by India and Malaysia. Increasing their lead on the last leg, South Africa won race 4. India accomplished to stay ahead of Malaysia and added 2 points to their tally. At the start of race 5, a dramatic situation took place. India collided with Malaysia. India got a penalty and had to do a 360, but the results for Malaysia were far more serious. South Africa kept clean and led at the first mark rounding, followed by India and Malaysia. Positions didn't change during the downwind. South Africa had a nice mark rounding. Unfortunately, India had the spinnaker in the water, and that definitely helped Malaysia to catch up. South Africa increased their lead and rounded the weather mark first, still followed by India. Malaysia, less than 100 meters behind them, rounded third. Anything could happen on the last downwind between India and Malaysia. South Africa won, and India kept their second place ahead of Malaysia. The provisional overall after 5 races sees South Africa in the lead with 13 points, Malaysia in second with 10 points, and India bringing up the rear with 7 points, following the decision from the jury to give them a penalty point for crashing into Malaysia just before the start. In the current point standing, South Africa is already qualified for the finals in Bahrain. The second group, with Singapore, South Korea, Thailand, and Ukraine, started their 4th race right after the first group. Korea got stuck at the committee boat and was forced to go right. Ukraine arrived in first position at the top mark, Thailand second, Singapore third, and South Korea was last around the mark. During the downwind, Ukraine and Thailand battled for the leading position, and Ukraine was able to keep the lead, rounding the gate first. During the upwind, the positions didn't change. Ukraine arrived first, still ahead of the rest of the fleet, keeping their place, winning the race ahead of Thailand, South Korea, and Singapore. Race 5 had a clear start for the Group 8. Ukraine took the lead and rounded first the windward mark. Thailand arrived second ahead of South Korea and Singapore. South Korea had troubles to establish their spinnaker as well as Singapore. Unfortunately, the result was a hole in the spinnaker of South Korea. Ukraine still leading, Thailand second, and tight battle for third place, but Korea managed to stay ahead of Singapore. Small changes occurred during the upwind leg, but Ukraine was still first at the weather mark ahead of Thailand. Singapore took third place and South Korea in fourth. Ukraine kept their lead and got the second bullet of the day ahead of Thailand. Singapore finished third, followed by South Korea. Ukraine has already qualified to the final series in Bahrain of the SSL Gold Cup. We'll see you tomorrow for the Golden Day. Remember, all races count double.
Minus 10, 9, 8. We have a go for main engine start. We have main engine start. 4, 3, 2, 1.